out again because we did have to establish a signal to get up on TV. We're here in Brentwood at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Kentner Avenue, one of many road closures in the area, preventing people from coming into this area that remains under an evacuation order. And we went back into the canyon because we wanted to get a sense of what the many crews stationed inside are monitoring. And from what we saw, things look pretty good. Let's get to some video we just sent back of the flare-ups persisting in the hillsides. The spots crews are carefully watching to make sure they don't run down the hills any more than they already have. There is not much breeze there, I can tell you, which is so helpful, as is the continuing air support. They are still making rounds, dropping, filling up, dropping more water. I know we got some video of that. Another thing, and this is so cool to see and so impressive, we can see the flashlights or the headlamps of the hand crews that have ascended into the hillsides to knock down what they can. This has been a multi-day attack in Mandeville Canyon. There are dozens of firefighters and dozens of engines positioned inside the canyon, and much of the area is covered in bright pink fire retardant. We spoke with a homeowner, Lance Roberts, who has lived in the canyon for more than 60 years, and he says this response is as good as it gets.
I'm always concerned. It's because, first of all, I'm not a firefighter. Secondly, I've been in a lot of them, and I can see what they can do, and I don't know how they also can kind of fall asleep and then wake up again. And that's the only thing I'm thinking about right now. Yeah. The fire department's doing an amazing job. Back in the 70s, when I was here fighting a different fire to save my parents' house, there weren't the fire retardants, the helicopters, all this stuff. The fire just raced through the canyon. This is a little more wait and see, but with all their equipment, and you can see the support they have, it's been amazing.
Now, he is still inside because he never left, but the National Guard is stationed at the entrance to Mandeville Canyon Road off of Sunset. They are not letting anyone in except for first responders, firefighters, police, etc., and the media. We did see them getting into it with one frustrated homeowner who wanted to get in there, and I just wanted to say we sometimes get questions from viewers about why we are allowed in, and I'll just say, we do get training from KCAL Fire annually, at least once a year, so we know how to navigate the situation. And a lot of us, of course, also have years of experience dealing with fires, so we know what to monitor for, and we know, what to stay alert for and how to gauge that risk. So that's what we are going into those situations with that kind of knowledge to get in there. But as good as it looks, as good as it positive as it seems at this moment, these flames can very easily flare up again. The situation can very easily change. So it's not a place that anyone wants to be just yet. And it's certainly not a time for anyone to let their guard down, and not by a long shot, not at this point. Guys, back to you.
Lori, I can understand why some people are frustrated. We've seen stories of people leaving without medication, leaving without, the very important things that they may need on a daily basis. But as you mentioned, it is just simply not safe. Just because maybe you don't see the flames right now from their vantage point, right. It's not deemed safe.
Right. I mean, it's just such a dynamic situation. I mean, all up and down Mandeville Canyon Road, there are fire crews and fire engines stationed, and they are literally looking up into the hillsides, and they're monitoring that because there are hot spots all around, and they're watching to make sure that they don't flare up, and that if they do flare up, that they're able to address them. But that gets complicated when there are people in there who do not belong, and that then they have to change their focus from protecting property to making sure people are safe. And so the best thing for everyone involved, for the crews involved, and for citizens, is to let them do their job, to let them be as safe as they can be and as effective as they can be by adhering to the evacuation orders and listening when you don't have to be somewhere where you're not supposed to be.
Prioritizing safety. Lori, thank you so much. With that, let's get to KCAL News meteorologist Olga Spina tracking those fire conditions.
Yeah, Olga, you were telling us we're on the upswing when it comes to those winds, yet couple days from now, we may see the same thing, or just hours, we should say.
Exactly. We are in for a brief upswing in the Santa Ana wind. So we have the high wind warnings. We have the wind advisories that just went into effect at 6 o'clock this evening, but stronger winds are on the way as we head into next week. So we're not catching much of a break, a bit of a break. I'll show you that in just a moment. But red flag warning with critical fire danger. You can see that across most of Southern California, from Ventura into LA, as well as parts of the Inland Empire and Inland Orange County, and for other areas of fire weather watch also through midweek. So want to show you what we are watching. We have the gusty winds, at least for this upcoming round, through the early part of Sunday with that high fire danger, and then stronger winds, more widespread as well. That's going to be Monday through Wednesday. So things will finally shift a little bit as we head into later in the week. In fact, not just less wind, we could be talking about a little bit of rain, which would, of course, be very helpful. Ideally, more rain, but at this point, it seems like we could get a few showers. Want to show you gusts right now. So through those usual spots, we're seeing it through some of our valleys down into Malibu. Still gusts in the mid-20s for parts of the San Gabriel Valley, and then some gusty conditions as well for parts of the Inland Empire, sweeping down into parts of Orange County too. So you can see this here, Burbank, seeing those northerly winds moving through. And again, parts of the IE with 29-mile-per-hour winds for Riverside, mid-20s in Chino, low 20s for San Bernardino. And our winds futurecast showing us those winds will continue with us overnight hours, especially for the higher elevations. So we're looking at gusts in that 30-40 mile per hour range as we head into later tonight, even a few spots with 50 mile per hour winds. And you can see some of those strong winds pushing down from the northeast into parts of Orange County too. And early tomorrow, also still seeing those 30-40 mile per hour winds. As we head into the afternoon, look at the big improvement as we head into later in the day. 6 o'clock hour and really minimal winds. And we'll continue to see those winds decrease as we head into late Sunday. But look at early Monday. We're looking at those more widespread winds really impacting most of Ventura County into the LA area, I-5 corridor, a lot of those valleys, the mountains, the foothill areas, and the Inland Empire sweeping down into Orange County as well. And really for much of the day, we're going to continue to see that pattern. So here we are, 3:05 p.m., continuing to 6 o'clock. By 6 o'clock in the evening, not quite as widespread, but still some strong gusty winds, especially given the conditions that we're going to be having. Still very dry conditions, dry vegetation, and you still have those breezy conditions continuing with us, not just into Tuesday, but still into Wednesday as well. So we'll talk about the rest of the week and what you can expect in just a few minutes.
Olga, we'll see you soon. Well, after a quick break, a parking lot full of donations, all meant for fire survivors.
A live report from that scene, plus the latest on the Palisades fire when we come back.
It's the beginning, we just got started. It's the beginning, we just got 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 started.
Am I the only one who doesn't get it?
Hey, get a grip. You got this.
Okay, so what? You have the answers?
Do you just want the answers? Or do you want to learn? Smart choice. Get a grip on college with Chegg.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation, sir?
Oh, I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
$155 for the night.
Hold up. How?
It's easy when you know where to look.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%.
Trivago is my secret tactic.
Hotel Trivago.
Oh, our car's value went up.
Maybe we should track all our cars' value on Carvana.
All of them?
All of them. We need more trackers.
I'll track the van.
Gotcha. Is that my belt?
Parts of it, yeah. Ooh, I'm getting a value update. Do you see which one is going off?
How's it tracking?
Good. Got some dips, some rises. Now what? Hold?
Sold. Did we get a little carried away?
No. Room for more.
Track your car's value on Carvana today.
Larry, check this out. With On Deck, we could get a small business loan fast and start hiring more help right away.
Or loan cannon!
Huh?
Why, loan cannon? Why? There's a better way.
Our neighbors need our help. KCAL cares, and we've teamed up with the Red Cross to aid in getting that help. For the latest information on resources and shelters and how you can donate or volunteer, just go to kcalnews.com/fire.
The laughs return with a new Papa's House. CBS Monday.
In Gabriel Valley, where the Eaton fire has devastated homes, lives, and the ecosystem, tragedy extends beyond just humans and property. Countless pets and wild animals are lost and confused amid the chaos.
And Pasadena Humane showing us just some of the animals they have taken in since Tuesday. You can see here there's cats and dogs being treated for burns, but also there's horses, tortoises, pigs, and you see right there a peacock. Well, Pasadena Humane says it's offering several services right now. Emergency responders are treating and evacuating animals and supplying resources like food and litter. Now, their home base in Pasadena is designated evacuation center for the Eaton fire.
The shelter is offering extended stay for 21 days to give families a chance to reunite with their pets, and they're trapping and treating community cats in the fire zone. Pasadena Humane also says it's critical people do not enter burn zones to look for animals. First responders are on site and trained to make these rescues.
Yeah, they say for now they cannot accept any more supply donations, but financial donations are welcome, and that's because they need that to take care of all these animals coming in. They also say they are all good on foster volunteers and are pausing new volunteer applications to onboard the people that they already have. It's good to hear.
Over here during the broadcast.
Well, Socal has come together to help the fire victims with an overflow of donations.
Speaking of good to hear, KCAL's Josh Sanders live at Santa Anita Racetrack in Arcadia. I got to say, Josh, it is wonderful to see all that behind you.
It really is. We were, about half an hour ago is when we first got out here. We were showing our viewers everything that was, going on. This is really kind of a, neighbors helping neighbors. And this is an example of kind of a spontaneous donation site that developed over the last couple of days for those impacted by the Eaton fire. Just people who wanted to come out and help out each other. And I want to bring in the person that's responsible for what's happening right here. This is Alan G. Alan, you're the guy that kind of started this thing. Can you tell us kind of how this came together, please?
I'm lost of words. What we started to do as a group of friends, my pastor, Pastor Chad with Mosaic, reached out to me and said, we need about 40 hot meals. I said, let me see what I could do. I went on TikTok Live. I saw them making hot dogs, a group of friends, now my lifetime friends. I went over there. I said, guys, I need some hot food. They gave it to me. Somebody saw me and said, hey, I have donations. Where do I take it? I said, hey, take it to the Rose Bowl. I went back there, and it's just, we started at the Rose Bowl. National Guard moved in, asked us, hey, guys, we need this space, but we'll work with you. They gave us some resources to reach to Santa Anita Racetracks, who's been more than beyond helpful in any way possible. They gave us half the parking lot yesterday. I got a call from them this morning saying they're canceling their races and they're giving us the whole parking lot until Wednesday. We'll be taking donations all the way through tomorrow about 9 o'clock. We're done taking closed donations. Thank you guys so much for all that. We have so much of that. We're taking everything else right now, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 to 11 will be strictly pickup, and after Wednesday we're gonna find a home for all this stuff. One day at a time. So this is picked up so quickly, but the city's behind us. Everyone's telling us we're ready to help, and we're going to find a home for everything. And we can't thank you enough as Angelinos. this is our city. Nothing's going to hold us down, especially not these fires. If you look around, this thing built way quicker than anything possible. And this was just a couple friends saying, hey, let's pick up some water bottles and take it to people that need it. Let's take some hot dogs to people who need it. And it's been that since.
I love that you talked about the spirit of Angelinos and how really they show up for one another.
City of Angels, baby. City of Angels.
Well, City of Angels, you're one of those angels. Alan G, thank you so much, for joining us. Appreciate what you're doing.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Guys, wow, what an incredible just testament to what it means to be an Angelino and show up for one another. Now, Pasadena city officials tell me that convention center has been taken over by the Red Cross, where we were yesterday. They said that there's about 800 to 900 people there. There's about 200 animals there right now. So the Red Cross has stepped in to help those folks out. And then you have, people like Alan G and volunteers here that are, this is what it's about. Out of the midst of tragedy, and with these wildfires, and people, they lost everything. A lot of people lost everything, walked out or evacuated from their homes, which is the clothes on their back. And now they can come here and they're, shoes, there's clothing, there's food, water. We saw that there was pet food here. So this is just a testament to what it means, in the midst of tragedy for people to come together. It's kind of breathtaking when you take it all in and you see just all of this. It's something.
Yeah, it really is. Josh, the last time we spoke to you, it was hard not to get emotional because we could see that, the faces to all the destruction. And there are so many families there with young kids who lost their schools.
Yeah.
And maybe had enough shoes at one point, but now only have one pair.
Yeah. And I heard that you got emotional, and it's okay to have a human moment, okay? Before I came in from Philadelphia to help out. Before Philly was home, Los Angeles was home. No, you can come through. Come on through. Before Philadelphia was home, Los Angeles was home for me, and I've had 5 people that I know personally, good friends of mine, that lost everything in this fire. One of my best friends in the Palisades. Him and his husband had to evacuate to Colorado with their 2 young boys. Fortunately, their house was spared, but their kids, the schools are gone. Their favorite coffee shop, gone. So, to what you said, that's a shared experience with many people who are here. So I think that resiliency is the word that keeps going through my mind when I think about people showing up and showing out and helping each other.
Truly, and I think a lot of people have seen a lot of new faces on our station recently because you guys are here to help us out with our coverage, and they don't even know that you guys have these connections as well. And these, the destruction stretches far beyond Southern California and touches so many people. So thank you for helping us out.
We appreciate it.
But also for showing our community so much love.
Yeah, let me just say this, because I've done a couple hits for our viewers in Philadelphia. I want everyone in Los Angeles and viewers that are watching us right now, the city of Philadelphia is with you as well. People all over the country, they are with you.
Josh Sanders, we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
And we want you guys to know that KCAL cares about all the fire victims. We are partnering with the Red Cross to assist those in need. If you're able to help, please go to redcross.org/KCAL. Last I heard, we have raised $500,000 for the Red Cross. Yeah, incredible. We want to get to breaking news, though, and updates on these fires.
KCAL Simon editor Mike Rogers at the desk with the details. Mike?
Yeah, we've been monitoring the fire activity in the Santa Monica Mountains, and I can tell you things are starting to finally look a little bit better. And we can tell, though, based on what we're looking at here on the mapping system. So I want to come to my computer because I want to show you this information here of what we've been kind of watching back and forth. And we have still 2 Chinooks. They've been bouncing back and forth. This one's going to go back and get some fuel, and they're being replaced by a CAL FIRE helicopter. But there are are a lot of water dropping power here. And I want to show you because they're still basically focused on the same area. And it's still the same area kind of to the south end of the Mandeville Canyon area, the south and the middle part of Mandeville Canyon, because this is where you can see the orange lines right here is where they're continuously dropping that water. And we've seen a lot of it. We know that from our reporters and we know from some of the fire mappings that we've seen, it does not appear that the fire has crossed Mandeville Canyon, right? So Mandeville Canyon's right there. So they've been really focused on these hillsides that are leading down into Mandeville Canyon and in some of the open space up here. Now, I want to show you because you know, Madison was talking to that homeowner that was on the Ring camera, and I want to show you where that was in comparison to where the firefight is happening right here. So Madison was up in a community right here. This is kind of off Topanga Canyon. If you know the area, Topanga Community Center is right there. Madison was in this neighborhood when she was speaking to that homeowner over his Ring camera, who had said he didn't have any Wi-Fi. He didn't know if his home was still there. They got evacuated, and Madison being able to talk to him was the only way he figured out that his home was still okay in all of that. And I just wanted to show you how relative the distance is between where this mandatory evacuation area is and has been for a little bit, which is right in this area, compared to where they're actually fighting the fire with the aircraft, which is always their most critical points, right? Wherever they're using the aircraft is wherever they're most concerned about the fire. And that remains right in this area near the Mandeville Canyon area. So I wanted to share that with that homeowner, and I'll show you just one more time so we can show you the fire print map here from Southern California, from the Fire Command Center. You can see all of the orange here is where it is. So again, we're still dealing with this finger that kind of popped up last night when those winds shifted and blew everything kind of to the north. So this is the area that remains to be the most active. And again, the water dropping helicopters are kind of right here on this flank of the fire. And then there is a little bit of activity still over in this area. But mostly tonight, things have begun to really kind of lay down. We haven't seen a ton of really active fire spots at the moment, and we can always figure that out because we have SkyCal, and I want to take you live to SkyCal and show you really nothing. I want to show you the darkness that you see in SkyCal's shot tonight, which is really a nice thing to see after what we have seen for the last several days. And as Olga's been saying, the winds are going to pick up, so it's really nice that they are kind of in a situation here where we maybe have a chance for our fire crews to catch up, you guys.
Yeah, we need all the chances we can get at this point. I feel like when they have the upper hand, they're still going to keep going because this is the moment to really gain that upper hand.
Yes. Right.
Okay, well, firefighters battling hot spots as the Palisade fire does rage on.
Coming up, an update from Olga on our weather conditions. That's when we come back. From all over the world, firefighters from Mexico arrived this afternoon at LAX. Governor Newsom meeting those firefighters on the tarmac. They'll join local crews and firefighters from around the state and the country in battling the fires.
Yeah, we're blessed. The Prime Minister in Canada called, reached out. Foreign Minister in Mexico reached out, offered assistance. You've seen that assistance right here from Mexico. Our Canadian partners are coming in Monday. We have all the Western states that are providing mutual aid. 9+ states. Yeah, so they're going to go to Beaumont to our mobile station where all of our partners, international partners, and other state and federal partners all go for orientation. They're dispatched. It's a command center with the U.S. Forest Service, with CAL FIRE, State Office of Emergency Services, and LA City and County. And that will organize about a 5-6 hour orientation, safety orientation, make sure they're hand in glove. A lot of these guys are hand crews. We'll send them likely to the Palisades tomorrow, and we expect to see them out there on the front lines, as early as Monday.
The National Firefighter Coordinator says Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum urged them to come help. She says those crews will be here as long as it takes.
Well, the governor's office breaking down the massive response to these fires. Governor Newsom says the state has mobilized more than 12,000 personnel. That includes firefighters, National Guard members, highway patrol officers, and transportation teams. On the ground and in the air, more than 1,700 pieces of firefighting equipment are in use. That means crews are using more than 1,300 fire engines, 80+ aircrafts, 150 dozers, and 160 water tankers. Well, speaking of first responders and elected officials meet with Pacific Palisades residents tonight in Westlake Village.
Now, if you get a notice on your phone, it's for real.
Congressman Brad Sherman tells residents they can trust the emergency alerts showing up on their phones. Earlier this week, there were erroneous alerts sent out to the public. Sherman, along with fire and police officials, answered resident questions. They also provided information on services people who have been displaced by the fires can use.
Well, for days now, we have seen an extensive aerial attack on this fire, with several helicopters and planes dropping both water and fire retardant on both the Palisades and the Eaton fires.
But new photos from the FBI shows what happens when someone illegally flies a drone into an FAA restricted flight zone and hits one of those planes. CBS Colorado's Dylan Thomas spoke with the FBI earlier this evening.
The FBI is now searching for the pilot of that drone that hit that aircraft. They say it's a very important mission they're on right now to identify that individual, but they believe it wasn't a professional drone pilot, but rather a recreational drone pilot, because a professional pilot would have a drone license like this one right here, and they would have legally been required to then register their drone through the FAA. For days now, we have seen an extensive aerial attack on this fire, though, with several helicopters and planes dropping both water and fire retardant on both the Palisade and Eaton fires. But these photos from the FBI show what happens when someone illegally flies a drone into the FAA restricted flight zone and hits one of their planes. It caused enough damage to put a hole in the plane, removing it from the fleet of aircraft that otherwise would have been out saving homes. Now the FBI is searching for that pilot of the drone. They're saying that they believe it was recreational pilot once again, as a professionally licensed pilot would have registered their drone in order to be flying it. The fact that this was not a professional drone makes it a little more difficult to identify who was flying it, right?
It does, but through our investigation, we're going to try to determine those facts. We're going to look for serial numbers. We're going to try to identify fingerprints and DNA to try to put those pieces back together as part of our investigation.
Now, as you saw, the FBI has collected some parts of the drone that collided with that aircraft, and they're going to now be searching it for any clues that might lead them to the drone pilot. In the meantime, anyone who may have information on who the pilot of that drone was is encouraged to either go online to tips.fbi.gov or to call 1-800-CALL-FBI, as that person could face felony charges. We should note the individual who was flying that drone more than likely would have had to go out and forego any rules that say you can't fly in this FAA restricted zone. To fly a DJI drone, which is that type of drone that was flying, you would have to get on the app and say, I acknowledge that I have prior authorization to be flying in here, which clearly that person did not have. In Westwood, Dylan Thomas, KCAL News.
Let's get to KCAL News meteorologist Olga Spina tracking those fire conditions.
Olga, you were telling us we're on the upswing when it comes to the wind.
Winds are picking up heading into overnight hours and early Sunday. these are not going to be the strongest winds. We actually have a stronger Santa Ana wind event heading into the new work week. So we still have several more days to go with these dangerous fire weather conditions. Want to get you out to Pacific Palisades and show you what the winds are looking like there right now. North winds at 15 miles per hour, gusting at 25 miles per hour. As we head into some of the other impacted areas, Brentwood, the Palisades fire has spread into those regions. We're looking at gusts nearing 30 miles per hour, and into Encino right now, gusts also in the upper 20s. Humidity levels are pretty dry as well, in the teens at 19%. And as we head into the San Gabriel Valley, Altadena right now, also those northeast winds, 15 miles per hour, gusts at 26 miles per hour, and also humidity levels there in the teens. So we have the high wind warnings, the wind advisories. This just went into effect at 6 o'clock this evening. So winds will continue to increase as we head into the coming hours, all the way through early tomorrow. So some of the more impacted areas, much of LA and Ventura, which will be experiencing gusts in that 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, even up to about 60 miles per hour for some areas, including the San Gabriel Valley. And then the winds futurecast shows us that stronger event headed our way by Monday, becoming a little bit more widespread too. So here we are as we head to almost midnight. You can see those winds continue to strengthen. We even start to see a few gusts in that 50 miles per hour range as you see those purples moving in. But a lot of the Inland Empire also seeing those dangerous conditions moving down into inland Orange County. And then as we head into the early part of Sunday too, but those winds decrease. Look at this, by late afternoon, early evening, we start to see some very light winds. So no issues there wind-wise, but then things start to change again as we head into Monday. And look at those widespread winds, especially for Ventura County, into the LA area, out through the Santa Clarita Valley, down into some of the coastline, including Malibu, the I-5 corridor, parts of the Antelope Valley, and also for the Inland Empire. This continues through much of the day on Monday, still into Tuesday, and potentially even into Wednesday. So we are in still for several days of dangerous fire conditions. Look at relative humidity. It is nighttime, and we are still seeing values in the teens from Claremont into Chino, San Bernardino, Riverside at 15%. Temecula also very dry, and Palm Springs. So we have the very dry air, we have the dry vegetation, and we have those gusty winds. So we'll continue with these critical fire conditions still through at least the middle of the upcoming week. Gio and Leslie.
Olga, thank you. Well, people are fleeing the fires, but not everyone.
Coming up, how one man plans to use his swimming pool to fight back the flames.
that they use